Hello guys, this video is about Robert Kiyosaki's book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and the context of this book is to help people to understand the game of money, how they can achieve financial independence, how they can get away from what the author calls the rat race. So Robert Kiyosaki gives 6 lessons and I'm going to talk about each one of them. Lesson number 1 is rich people, they don't work for money. They make money work for themselves. On the other hand, poor people, they do work for money. And the reason why poor people work for money is because of 2 emotions. Fear and ambition. The first one, they are scared of not having money to buy the things that they want. They are scared of the lack of money. So they go to a job, they find a job and they work, they trade time for money. And at the end of their month, they get a paycheck. And once they get a paycheck, they no longer have fear because they have money. Now the ambition comes in. And the ambition of buying the things that they want. So they start to spend money. And once they spend money, they end up with no money. So they go back to work again because they are in fear of not having money. And once they get a paycheck, the ambition comes in again, they start spending it, they don't have money, fear comes in, yes, they have to go to work to make another paycheck. And this becomes a cycle and it repeats itself. On the other hand, rich people understand that fear and ambition are 2 emotions that they need to control. And they control them because they develop financial intelligence. And financial intelligence is lesson number 2. Financial intelligence, it's not something really hard. It's quite simple actually. You just have to know the difference between an asset and a liability. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. Now let's get a little bit more specific with an example. Imagine a person with a poor mentality. He gets a paycheck. Its income just gets bigger. But then he decides to buy a house. Now he has to pay a mortgage for that house at the end of every month. So every month that house is taking money out of his pocket. Therefore it's a liability. But imagine the same person is not happy enough with the house and decides to buy a car. Once they get a car, that car also takes money out of his pocket at the end of every month. Now he has to work to pay for the house and he has to work to pay for the car. And it gets even worse if he gets into credit card debt or any other kind of debt. Basically, he's just paying to pay, he's just working to pay his liabilities. Imagine the same person meets another one and they get married. Now they have 2 streams of income, they both get a paycheck, but they decide to get a bigger house because they can afford it, and they buy a new car because they also can afford it. So as their income gets bigger, their liabilities get bigger. But it can get even worse. Imagine both of them get a promotion and they think that it's time to start a family. So they need a bigger house for the kids. They buy a bigger house and they buy a van for the family trips. So they both get a promotion, both incomes get bigger, but their liabilities also get bigger. So basically they are just going to work to pay for their expenses. On the other hand, imagine the same person but with a rich mentality. He gets his income and he uses that income to buy assets. What I mean is, imagine he buys a house, but instead of living in that house, he rents the house. Now every month that house is putting money into his pocket. So now he has the paycheck and he has the rent from the house. And that incremental income, he uses it to start a business. And that business also starts giving him money. Now he has a paycheck, he has the rent of the house, and he has the business that gives him money every month. And as his income gets bigger, he uses that money to buy more assets. And those assets make his income go bigger. And as his income goes bigger, he buys more assets. And you see, it repeats itself. It's a cycle. And this is the reason why rich people keep getting richer and the poor people keep getting poorer. Now that we know a little bit about financial intelligence, I'm going to solidify this with 4 topics that you need to master if you want to have a good financial intelligence. So the first one is accounting. To most of us, accounting is a bummer. But if we can understand the numbers and we can see what they mean, we can understand which one of our assets are the strongest and which one are the weakest, and we can develop the strongest and strengthen the weakest. The second thing about financial intelligence is we have to know how to invest. We need to understand investment. And investment is the brilliant science of using money to make more money. The third thing about financial intelligence is knowledge. We have to know and we have to understand the market that we're into. The market is constantly changing and we need to understand it to take advantage from every opportunity that the market gives us. The last thing, it's law. There's absolutely no problem being rich. There's absolutely no problem having a luxury life, and there's no problem in trying to protect our money, as long as it's done in a legal way. With that being said, let's jump to lesson number 3. And lesson number 3 is protect your investments. So, a lot of people don't know the difference between a profession and an investment, or a business. Profession, so let's say, imagine you're an incredible engineering, and you work in a fantastic firm. But that's your profession, that's not your business. You're working for someone else, you don't own the company, and you're trading time for money. On the other hand, a business or an investment is something that you own, and you don't have to trade time for money. So what Robert says is, you can have your work, that you don't have to quit your job, but on your free time start working on your investments. In this way you can stretch your finances and you make your assets grow bigger. So some examples are, you can start a side business, you can sell stuff online, you can open a shop and put someone working in there and sell your products, or you can start a YouTube channel. You have to put a little bit of work in the beginning, but then the business runs by itself. Another thing is investing in the stock market. If you take time to understand the stock market, read about it, watch some videos on YouTube, you can make profit from that. Another thing is the real estate. If you own a property, rent it, put it working, make it work for you, make it give it money to you every single month. Another thing you can do is royalties for intellectual patterns. For instance, you can write a book or make a song and then sell it online. It's your thing, you can make profit from that. Lesson number 4 is taxes and companies. So a little bit about taxes. They haven't been around since forever. Taxes started when the government needed money to finance the wars. So in the wartime, the period of wartime, they would go to people and they would collect a part of their incomes. And with this money, they would build some weapons and train their soldiers and finance the war. When the war was over, the taxes were gone. But then the government started to collect taxes on the rich people, and the poor and the middle class, they were happy with it because the rich were paying taxes. But then the government got greedy, and by the greed of government, everyone paid taxes, even the middle one and the poor one, and not everyone. And then poor and middle class, they weren't so happy with that, as you can see why. So the thing is, rich people, they understand the game of money, so they knew how to protect their money. And they knew how to protect their money from taxes. And what they did was the power of a company. So just for you to know the power of a company, it goes a bit like this. You receive money, you spend your money, and then you get deducted, which is you get deducted on your profits. Now, a person receives the paycheck, the government deducts the taxes, and then the person is free to spend the money wherever they want. So the company can protect your money. You can spend money before the government goes there and collects the taxes. So lesson number 5 is rich people, they create money. And the reason why rich people create money is because they develop an financial intelligence. So they can see the opportunities easily than the rest of us. They can see where they can invest their money and take profit out of that, because they adapt themselves, they adapt to the changes, they understand the market around them, they understand what the market needs, and they can provide that demand. And that is why they can create money. They can create money in an easier way. On the other hand, a poor person with a poor mentality, they just think that to make money you have to work. They didn't develop their brains in a financial way. They don't have financial intelligence. So they just think that, yeah, I need money, so I need a job. No. They can't adapt themselves to the circumstances. They can't see how they can profit from something that is happening. And this is why they get really frustrated when a new technology comes in and steals their jobs. So the lesson here is, the world is always going to evolve. There will always be people like Bill Gates. There always will be companies like Apple. They are changing the world. They are developing it. You just have to understand what the market needs and try to provide it for them. Or other way, you can adjust to the market and make profits with that. And you do this by developing financial intelligence. And the last lesson, and personally my favorite, is lesson number 6, work to learn, don't work for the money. Imagine this, you have a big goal, you set your goal for your life, and you work on a plan to it. But in the middle of the plan, you find yourself stuck in a job that it's not mentally challenging, you're not learning anything new, it's not contributing anymore to your goal, but you're making good money and you feel safe in there. Your natural response will be, well, I'm safe here, I don't know if I will make the same money on another area, so I might as well just stay here. But see it like this: if you eventually run out of job, or your job doesn't seem, your technology makes your job worthless, then you don't know anything else to do, because all you did was that. What Robert says is, it's really important to keep developing yourself, keep working on yourself, and always keep learning. It doesn't matter if you're making good money in a job. If you always doing that thing, that area, and that job is not being mentally challenging, you should skip to another job, another area that will help you to achieve your final goal. And he gives an example. He's talking with a journalist, and she's an incredible writer, but she never seems to get published because she doesn't know how to sell. On the other hand, Robert is not a good writer, he admits himself, he's a terrible writer, but he's an incredible salesman. So he's the best author, he's the best-selling author. So what he says to her is, you are an incredible writer, but you're stuck in that. You never develop another area of yourself. If you take a sales course, you would be an incredible writer, an incredible seller, and you could achieve your goal, which was publishing your book and being a bestseller, much easier. So the last lesson is work to learn, don't work for the money. Always keep improving yourself, always keep working on yourself, and always keep learning new things. Don't be stuck in a job just because it feels safe. That is not safe at all, even if it seems at the time. So, hope I make myself clear, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit the subscribe button, leave a comment on the section below, and see you next time.